I truly think that you can't address global poverty, global insecurity, a whole range of global issues unless you focus on girls. And adolescent girls as a subject of this conference, I think, are also the key to this whole range of larger issues. So I was just in Sudan, and I was delighted to have the chance to still be able to come here and talk to what seems an awesome conference. I think I would focus on education. If you educate girls, then it'll have an impact on giving them a chance to earn an income. It'll give them a chance to play a greater role in society, which I think has benefits for security of that country. And it also, frankly, makes it a lot harder for traffickers to kidnap girls and exploit them. It gives girls more self-confidence, more ability to fight back. There's no silver bullet to address development, to address inequality, to address oppression. But in general, I think that among the tools that we've seen that have helped chip away at these problems, education, for example, is a starting point, and that's not only a question of building more schools, for example, but also having policymakers focus on other things that tend to get neglected. One of my favorite examples of that is iodization of salt. And this is incredibly unglamorous, and it doesn't get attention. But for tiny amounts of money, you can iodize salt. And in the first trimester of pregnancy, if a woman does not have enough iodine in her body, and that is typically a problem in away from coastal areas in developing countries, then her children, and especially her female children, will pay a significant mental deficit lifelong as a result. That's typically somewhere between 10 and 15 IQ points. And those girls, and for reasons we don't understand, it disproportionately affects girls, are going to be up against a hurdle 50 years from now, 60 years from now. And it seems to me almost criminal that we don't take these incredibly easy, cheap steps to do something like that. Reproductive health is also an area that has been hugely neglected over the last 30 years or so. In the presidential campaign in this country, President Obama talked about starting a $2 billion global education fund. And I would love to see that as a centerpiece of his development policy. Unfortunately, since he was elected, he seems to have dropped the topic. I'd love to see advocates hold his feet to the fire and really push that idea of this kind of global education fund, working with other countries, and not just building schools, but doing things like deworming kids so they can go to school more easily, helping girls manage menstruation, which seems to be a major reason that they drop out in high school, and taking a variety of other tactics to see what works. Think about the topic that means the most to you. For some people, that will be reproductive health. For somebody else, it might be supporting entrepreneurship. A third person might be education. It might be trafficking. But find that topic and then go and look for an organization that speaks to you, that is engaged in that area. There it's lots of ways to search. You can Google search it. We, on our website, halftheskymovement.org, we list a bunch of great organizations in each of these spaces, and then get involved. But usually people think that just means writing checks, and writing checks is important, but there's a lot more you can do as well. And I'd love to see people also make more trips abroad to get that kind of direct engagement. And not just tell people what to do, but also do some listening. So whether it's sponsoring a child in another country or getting engaged in advocacy efforts, or making a loan through Kiva or a donation through globalgiving.org, there's just so much that absolutely anybody can do. And it can take only about 10 minutes. It's surely worth it.